Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this from. This is my boxing review from the weekend's action of boxing. But we are obviously going to start off with the sad news that we suffered at the weekend. We have lost a British boxing legend in Ricky Hatton. Obviously, 1978 to 2025, 46 years old, far too young. The news shocked me, it really did. To use a legend like that, it's only right we start off with the tribute to Ricky Hatton. Obviously, he won the IBF and win super lightweight titles in that famous win over Tosasu, 11-round victory. Then went on to add WBA super lightweight title with a 9th-round KO win over Carlos Musa. Then stepped up to welterweight to win WBA title versus Ayers Carasso by unanimous decision. Then couple fights later, obviously the fight we remember, Floyd Mayweather Jr. where he brought thousands and thousands of Las Vegas for Floyd's WBC title, bringing 20,000 fans to Las Vegas and making himself one of the most popular boxers out there despite being stopped by Mayweather in the 10th round. Obviously not shame using to a fight like Mayweather. After that, he went back down to super lightweight to retain his belt versus Paulie Malignaggi with a stoppage win. He wasn't bad, was he? Before using them belts to Manny Pacquiao by getting KO'd by Pacquiao in the 2nd round. Ricky Hatton took a 3-year break, obviously. He, after that, then returned fight proved to be his last fight, which ended in the 9th-round KO defeat against Vladislav Serchenko, and that proved to be his last fight. I don't want to go into what could be the cause of the death, but Ricky Hatton, unfortunately, he did suffer badly with mental health issues. So we are obviously all fearful on how he did die, but how he did pass away. But yeah, he's massively missed. He had that charisma, didn't he? Just a nice guy as well. Just a nice guy. He don't feel for his family as well, especially his son, Campbell Hatton. Obviously, Campbell Hatton has stepped away from boxing now. Obviously, not quite got to the level that he wanted his son at boxing. But there's no shame in that. His son David Adore, just wasn't at the level he wanted to be. But this is a massive miss for his son as well, Campbell Hatton. I wonder what he's going through right now as well. And the whole family. The whole family, of course. So I just thought I would start off the stream with the tribute to Ricky Hatton. Definitely one of my favourite British boxers to watch as well. How relentless he was as well. He was called a hitman for a reason. And to end off my favourite memory from Ricky Hatton, obviously the Tosasu victory. But you have to say, my favourite memory is still Steve Bunce shaking his head. The Mayweather Hatton press conference, I think it was. Ricky Hatton tried to get under Mayweather's skin, tried to rattle Mayweather, and you just see Steve Bunce with the media just shaking his head saying, "What the hell are you doing? Why are you trying to rattle him?" And obviously it didn't go too well for Ricky Hatton in terms of the fight. Well, he took it to the 10th round, didn't he? But that's when karma can hit sometimes, can't it? When you try to rattle your opponent, especially Floyd Mayweather Jr. As well. So yeah, that's definitely my favourite memory. Just seeing Steve Bunce, who is a legend by the way, in the media, just shake his head because he was thinking he don't regret that. And obviously, in the end, it did come back to bite Ricky Hatton in the end. So that's my favourite memory. Sad news, unfortunately, massive sad news. Impressive record, by the way, isn't it? Very impressive record, especially the people he beat as well. Zero draws as well. But yeah, sad news at the weekend. Using another boxing legend, far too young as well. 46 years old as well. Obviously, I'm fearful on how he did pass away. But I don't really want to dive into that, to be honest with you. But yeah, my thoughts and condolences with the family and obviously his close friends as well. Anthony Fowler, especially as well. Anthony Fowler was best mates with him. So yeah, massive sad news. And yeah, that's my tribute to Ricky Hatton. But we will now move on, because unfortunately that's what we have to do in boxing these days. But Ricky Hatton will be definitely impressed by this performance, where we saw greatness. We saw Terence Crawford beat Canelo Alvarez to become the undisputed super middleweight champion. He didn't just beat Canelo Alvarez; it was an absolute masterclass by Terence Crawford, stepping up 2 weight divisions as well. No rehydration clause, by the way. By the way, that's a shout out to Conor Benn, who needed a rehydration clause to beat Chris Eubank Jr. and still couldn't beat him. Just saying. And Terence Crawford, now a 3-time undisputed champion now in 3 different weight divisions: super lightweight, welterweight, and super middleweight. I thought Canelo Alvarez would win. Personally, I thought it would be weight divisions for a reason, and that's why I went for Canelo Alvarez. But I didn't rule out Terence Crawford, because Terence Crawford is the better skilled fighter than Canelo Alvarez. But that showed in the win. Terence Crawford, he's one of the best boxers I've ever seen. Terence Crawford, just the way he boxes on the back foot as well. Never yet Canelo, he didn't give Canelo Alvarez any joy at all. The counter punching as well from Crawford, it's just brutal boxing, isn't it? It's just brutal boxing from Terence Crawford. Brutal boxing. There is an argument, is he now the pound for pound number 1? I think Mr. Eisenhower is definitely the only one who can win him shorts. I think that's certainly a debate on who is the number 1, pound for pound number 1, Usyk or Crawford. They both have good arguments. Eisenhower said they had to put on more pounds from cruiserweight to heavyweight, but Crawford had to step up 2 weight divisions as well, and he still looked fucking fantastic. Terence Crawford, he still utilised his spots and stills as well. I must say, I know the white man won, but the scoring was a disgrace. The scorecards were an absolute disgrace. Terence Crawford, for me, Terence Crawford won 10 rounds, in my opinion. 10 rounds to 2. There's no way Canelo Alvarez won more than 2 rounds. Not a chance. Not a chance. It was that dominant of a performance from Terence Crawford. Where do both of them go now? This is the question, because does Crawford need to fight on? Not for me, no. Why does he need to fight on? And this is what I said. I think both don't need to fight again, to be honest with you. I think Canelo Alvarez, the only fight ever for Canelo Alvarez is the rematch to try and win the belts back. To try and win the belts back, but that's about it. That's about it, really. So, obviously, there is probably a money fight with Chris Eubank Jr. if he comes past Conor Benn. Maybe Eubank wins Canelo Alvarez to the UK for a big money fight. It's an easy money fight for Canelo Alvarez, just be real. I would expect Canelo to do a job on Eubank. And, but I can't. But apart from that, I don't really see where Canelo Alvarez does next after Terence Crawford, if I'm being honest with you. I personally don't want to see both fight again, personally. As much as I love watching Terence Crawford, but does he really need to fight? Does he really need to fight again, Terence Crawford? Not for me. Look what he's already created in boxing. He could easily go back down to middleweight and become undisputed there, potentially. He can easily do that, if I'm being honest with you, because he is that dud, Terence Crawford. But I'm sitting here, I don't really think they need to fight again, both of them, with what they achieved in boxing. Canelo Alvarez's legacy is tainted, because let's be real, he did fail on trust tests. So, let's not forget about that. Let's not push that under the carpet. He did fail on trust test, Canelo Alvarez, a couple of years ago. So, his legacy is already tainted. It's a bad defeat for Canelo Alvarez as well. You've lost to a 154 fighter. You've lost your belts to a 154 fighter. You not just lost your belts, you've lost them easily. You got absolutely outclassed. And the achievements are still there for Canelo Alvarez, but for me, his legacy is tainted. You lost to a 154 fighter who, yes, be real, who he did cherry pick, yes, be real, and that's came back to bite him. And obviously, the failed trust test has obviously tainted his legacy as well. While Terence Crawford, does he really need to fight again? Look what he's already achieved. 3-time undisputed in different weight divisions. And I love watching Terence Crawford. I think it's an absolute joy to watch him. This his boxing skills. It's honestly, his boxing skills and IQ as well. But this is what I think. I don't think both of them need to fight again. Even the rematch, it doesn't want a rematch for me. Crawford outclassed him. So, yeah, for me, I don't really want to see both of these fight again. I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way, because they don't need to fight again. The both of them. So, but yeah, absolute masterclass and one of the best performances you ever see in boxing. The way Terence Crawford dissect the king of the 168 division with Canelo Alvarez, the way he's dissect him as well. Absolutely incredible. Let's be real. So up next, we saw US Crawford beat Paddy Donovan to become the IBF welterweight champion by controversial decision. For me, not the one person won, in my opinion. I'm not saying it's a robbery. It was a close fight because the 2 knockdowns from US Crawford on Paddy Donovan had made it close from the start hard. Paddy Donovan, for me, still outbossed US Crawford for, especially second half of the fight, still outbossed him. Despite US Crawford made chances from the first fight, it became more cautious, US Crawford, in the first half of the fight. And let's be real, the first half of the fight, US Crawford did well. He did very well. And that's where the 2 knockdowns came, where he made Paddy Donovan make mistakes. And Paddy Donovan left himself open, which allowed US Crawford to land on Paddy Donovan, land them knockdowns on Paddy Donovan as well. It's not US Crawford's fault, let's be real. It's not US Crawford's fault at all that he was given the decision. Of course he's done it over there for becoming a world champion. Of course he is. But for me, I think a treaty will happen. And I think it should happen as well. And you've got a potential cracker of an Irish card as well, which I'll talk about obviously in the other fights on the card as well. And Paddy Donovan should have been given the decision, and that's back-to-back fights now where with US Crawford, where Paddy Donovan, the first fight was obviously disqualification for throwing after the bell. Throwing punch after the bell. Now you got this as well. It's more. Eddie Hearn was white, wasn't he? Eddie Hearn said before the fight there'll be more controversy in this fight, and there was then with the start card. And but for me, Paddy Dorfman still won the fight, in my personal opinion, despite the 2 knockdowns on him. Without them 2 knockdowns, by the way, Paddy Dorfman wins the fight easy on start card. So yeah, the trilogy should be happening, and I think it will happen, because this is what Eddie Hearn wants, to build up a matchroom, to build up the drama as well. Oh, let's have a trilogy after the controversy as well. So it helps Eddie Hearn, doesn't it? And the trilogy actually makes it even more bitter of a fight compared to the last 2 fights as well. Because the rematch was big because the world title was on the line. And now, the controversy is even more bitter. And Paddy Dorfman knows what, if the trilogy does happen, Paddy Dorfman knows what he needs to do. He knows what he needs to do, doesn't he? He needs to actually stop US Crocker and go for it. Because the star cards, again, might not be in his favour, but again, Paddy Dorfman needs to show up defensively after them knockdowns, because if them knockdowns didn't happen, I do think Paddy Dorfman would have been given the decision, if I'm being honest with you. So that's my thoughts on that. What next for Bob? Well, I said it there. Trilogy will and should happen, in my opinion. And then we head over to Japan, where we saw the Monsters reign continue. That is, Noah Inoue remains the undisputed king after outclassing Molten Akhmadiev on unanimous decision. We saw a different Inoue, didn't we? We didn't see a come forward Noah Inoue. We saw more of a boxing performance from Noah Inoue, and he outboxed Akhmadiev throughout the whole fight. A masterclass performance from Inoue himself, especially after Terence Crawford did fight before Noah Inoue as well. We see another pound-for-pound star putting another masterclass performance. It was the best fight to make in this division, and it just shows how good Noah Inoue is. The way he can adapt, change up his game plan, he can switch up his game plan from orthodox, from puncher to boxer. He's got everything. Noah Inoue. He's so good. That's why he's pound for pound, top 3 pound for pound for a reason. So it's no surprise Inoue won. Let's be real. We all expected Inoue to win. Akhmadiev finally got the fight he deserved as well, because he did earn the fight. But again, Inoue, as expected, was his levels above Akhmadiev. What next for both? Well, what next for both? Noah Inoue versus David Patasso, which is a mandatory defence, 27th December. That's already confirmed. I would love to see Akhmadiev then like a 1-1 Tardiness. I think that'll be a good combat fight for Akhmadiev. Good fight as well, good matchmaking. And Chuko Nakatani will be stepping up the super bantamweight and be a core main event on the Inoue versus Patasso card, which is definitely a tears and tours, isn't it? I think Nakatani will have that fight, warm-up fight, his first fight super bantamweight, then another fight, then we'll see Noah Inoue versus Junko Nakatani meet each other sometime in 2026, in my opinion, which is a massive fight for Japan. 2 of the best fighters from Japan up against each other as well. And 2 of the pound-for-pound stars up against each other as well in Inoue and Nakatani. So that's what could happen next in terms of that. But we will continue with the rest of the fights that were on the cards for all 3. So Adiako beat Ismail Davis by split decision. Again, disgraceful scorecard. Adiako won that fight again comfortably on the scorecard. Adiato, for me, very underrated fighter, very underrated boxer as well. Absolutely he outboxed Ismail Davis throughout the whole fight, in my opinion. Ismail Davis looked big, didn't he? He looked massive, Ismail Davis. And for me, that took away, with Ismail Davis looking that big, it took away Ismail Davis' skills for me, where boxing at a distance, utilising that jab, which is what Ismail Davis is better at. While Ismail Davis just went in being the front presser fighter, and that suited Adiato. In the fight. Adiato absolutely outboxed him. And that's what Adiato does. He outboxes you. Very good boxer, Adiato as well. There was a worry about the activeness of Adiato. I said it would be a draw, this fight, because I didn't know what level Davis was at after his 2 short notice fights against Josh Taylor and Cedric Boljuk. And Adiato's inactiveness, so that's why I did go for a draw. But Adiato definitely deserved to win the fight. Definitely not by split decision. Should have been unanimous decision for me. So disgraceful scorecard then. What next for both? Well, I think Adiato should take on that Terence Waltz, who we saw in that Terence Crawford versus Canelo on the card. Obviously, Terence Waltz. I see we'll just do it here. I see Terence Waltz obviously defeating Fernando Vargas Jr. by unanimous decision. A very good performance from Terence Waltz. And then outboxed Fernando Vargas for me. Right the way through, comfortable win for Terence Waltz. And why not? Why not make that fight? Adiato versus Terence Waltz, all Irish fight as well. Why not make that fight? Why not make that fight for the Crocker versus Dolphin Jersey card? That would be a great undercard fight, Adiato versus Waltz, in my opinion. And which brings me on, actually, to the other fight on the Crocker Dolphin card, which was Tyrone McKenna in the rematch, stopping Dylan Moran in the 7th round. Stopping him a bit more compared to the first fight. Tyrone McKenna was his too relentless, wasn't he? Too relentless. A relentless warrior, isn't he? Tyrone McKenna. Dylan Moran had some good moments in that fight. He was landing on McKenna's chin, but McKenna started pretty chin on him, hasn't he? He started chin on him. Dylan Moran obviously is now retired from boxing after this fight, because it's a shame, really. I think it is a shame he retired, but maybe the punches that landed on him were a lot of punches that landed on him by McKenna. The formula of punching as well. But fair play to Moran though for making that decision to retire. He knows when to stop. He knows when to stop boxing. A bit like Campbell Hatton as well. I don't think Dylan Moran's defense was poor. That's the only problem, wasn't it? And he was eventually going to get stopped by McKenna. But Dylan Moran, for me, I still felt he could have went on boxing, to be fair, because he had some good moments. He was counter-punching Tyrone McKenna. He was just on the ropes a lot, wasn't he? That's why McKenna ended up stopping him. If Dylan Moran obviously got off the ropes and continued that win movement, which is what Harlem Huban did against Tyrone McKenna, then Moran would have had a probably better chance. Which is why I went for Dylan Moran. I did go for Moran to win on points, to be honest with you. Because I still think Tyrone McKenna is kind of past it. Let's be real. Not the same fighter that he was, but he still continues, Tyrone McKenna. He did come back from an early retirement, by the way, as well. And what next for both? Well, obviously, I think Moran's retired. For me, what a fight this will be. Again, another fight, another cracker of a fight to make on a cracker first Northern Trinity card. Tyron McKenna first Conor Walker. Take my money. Take my money. What a fight that will be. And that'll be a cracker. That'll be a cracker of a fight. I would make Conor Walker favourite for that fight. But that's an absolute barnstormer of a fight. Let's be real. McKenna versus Walker. Yes, that done. I mean, if Eddie Hearn needs any help to make quarter first Northern Trinity card, McKenna versus Conor Walker, and Adiato versus Karen Waltz. That's already 200 fights for you to make. That would be an absolute barnstormer of a fight, let's be real. So yeah. Up next, we saw Chris and MBE and Jesse Martinez should be to fight of the year tour. Again, take my money for the rematch, and the rematch will happen because it ended in the tour. You can't deceive it there. And I wasn't shocked by Martinez's performance. I thought he would cause MBE a test, but I thought MBE would still be too much for Martinez. I think I went for MBE to stop him midway in my predictions. And Martinez's performance was very good, by the way. Took the fight MBE as well. Martinez's counter-punching was very good as well. The tour was a fair result for me. I started at tour as well. Won the fights of the year for me. MBE versus Martinez, and real joy to watch. As much as we criticised on the card for Canelo versus Crawford, this fight stood out on the card. So yeah, I think a rematch should happen, in my opinion. And an incredible fight. Let's get this one out the way. Terence Franklin beating Ivan Distal and the snooze vets. I thought that fight was. I wouldn't argue with a draw on the scorecards. I thought Distal had Choi early on. I still felt Franklin did edge it personally. I still felt Franklin did edge it on scorecards, but it wasn't a joy to watch. Let's be real. It was an ugly watch, if I'm being honest with you. And what next for both? I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. But in terms of Jermaine Franklin, I think, again, I keep saying this. I think Franklin versus Andy Ruiz Jr. makes perfect sense for both of them. They're both nearly off the same height. Andy Ruiz Jr. far too inactive for me, Andy Ruiz Jr., which is a real shame, by the way, because he could have been a world champion in this current state of boxing. I really do feel that if he was more active. I think Andy Ruiz Jr. could be a potential opponent for Moses Atoma. Again, I wouldn't be against that, if I'm being honest with you. But I think this would be the perfect fight to make next for both of them. I just think they suit each other, Franklin and Andy Ruiz Jr. Both pretty much same height, let's be real. I don't know if it'll be a good fight to watch. I think Andy Ruiz is definitely the more entertaining fighter than Jermaine Franklin. Franklin's movement is shocking, by the way. It is shocking. He has no movement at all. It's like a grandma. It's like an old grandma moving. And Andy Ruiz Jr. has been inactive. So that's the fight I would make next. I know Andy Ruiz Jr. had a face-off with Deontay Wilder at Las Vegas, but again, I don't really see that fight happening. I actually think Ruiz would beat Wilder. I really do think that. I think Andy Ruiz Jr. would beat Deontay Wilder, even Andy Ruiz being inactive would beat Deontay Wilder. So, but that's the fight I would make next. I would have to apologise for this one, by the way. Obviously, I said in my preview that Boruchuk knocked out Brandon Adams. I misread it. Brandon Adams did knock out Boruchuk in the first fight. And Brandon Adams, this time, in the rematch, obviously repeat the win. But this time he outbossed Boruchuk to a points win. Fair play, brilliant performance from Brandon Adams, well-deserved winner. Took the fight to Boruchuk. Very underrated, isn't he, Brandon Adams? Took the fight to Boruchuk, outbossed Seri Boruchuk. Brandon Adams, for me, won by a couple of rounds on start hard, in my opinion. Wasn't the greatest performance from Boruchuk. Was it irritating? I did expect better from Boruchuk, personally. I did expect Boruchuk to get the win. But Brandon Adams, fair play. Deserves his flowers, outbossed and Seri Boruchuk to a points win. What next for both? I would like to see Brandon Adams face the winner of First World Series versus Everson Newman winner. I think he deserves that fight, Brandon Adams. And I would like to see Boruchuk versus Mazmov. Obviously, we didn't get to see that fight on the Fury, was it the Usyk Fury 2 card? I think it was. It was supposed to happen. So why not make it happen? Why not make that fight happen now, if I'm being honest with you? I still think that's a 50-50 fight, Boruchuk versus Mazmov. I would actually edge towards Mazmov because he would take the fight to Boruchuk as well. So that's my thoughts on that fight, on Adams versus Boruchuk. Have we got anything else to talk about? I've moved up one more fight, haven't we, to talk about here, which was on the New A card. The upset, probably one of the upsets of the year, where we saw Christian Medina knock out the undefeated WBO bantamweight champion Nasiti Tatai in the fourth round. For me, I said it. I was not convinced by Tatai as a champion, to be honest with you. He boxes. I didn't think he had any power, Tatai, personally. He was more of a boxer. And even as a boxer, I didn't really see much of Tatai in his recent performances. But he somehow stand his way to a bantamweight title and becoming a world champion. Probably one of the worst world champions out there, Tatai, if I'm being honest with you. And obviously this Mexican has came on and Christian Medina knocked him out in the fourth round. And it was coming, wasn't it? It was coming in the fight. Because Medina was the more front presser fighter. And I was watching it thinking to myself, yes, Tatai's in trouble here. The way Medina is the front footed fighter here. What next for? I'm gonna say what next for Medina personally is maybe another fight in Japan, defend his title against Nasukawa, or maybe a UK versus Mexico fight with Andrew Kane. They're the fights I would like to see next from Medina. Either defend his title in Japan against Nasukawa, or defend his title against Andrew Kane in the UK or Mexico. That would be a cracker of a fight, by the way. I would personally like to see Medina versus Andrew Kane. That would be a barnstormer of a fight. Andrew Kane loves to fight as well. UK, even the UK or Mexico, I think Frank Warren would be looking at that for Andrew Kane, in my opinion. And yeah, and that is my boxing review done. So feel free to leave your thoughts down below on everything I spoke about down below as well in the comments, whether it's the boxing review from the weekend, from any of the fights from the weekend, and obviously also pay your tributes to Dog Piessoso, Whitty Harton in the comments as well. And what was your favourite memory of Whitty Harton as well? Feel free to leave that in the comments as well. And yeah, I'll see you all for the next one. Feel free to leave your thoughts down below in the comments on everything I spoke about, and I'll see you all in the next one. As rest in peace to Whitty Harton, and Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford put in one of the best boxing performances ever to dissect Canelo Alvarez and step up 2 weight divisions to become undisputed super middleweight champion.